Tonight, miracle moment. 4 boys rescued from a cave in Thailand as the marathon retrieval continues.
A woman loses everything as fire tears through a house in Newcastle.
Police prepare to charge Mario Santoro with the murder of his ex-girlfriend in Sydney.
And the Blues ready to claim an Origin clean sweep.
This is NBN News with Natasha Beyersdorf and Lobb.
Good evening. Mission Impossible has now become Mission Incredible. 4 boys rescued, with a second operation deep into a Thailand cave now underway.
Tonight, the great moment when the first boys came out, and we'll show you just how it was done, with the effort, the danger, and the reward.
Tough men with tender hands, putting their hearts into this rescue mission. There's a restrained urgency as one of the boys is lifted into an ambulance. Watched by the rescue chief, the ambulance heads to the hospital. Satisfied, the boss turns back to the job. He then broke the news that the first 4 boys were out. That's the media cheering. Everybody is relishing this victory. Arousing concern, however, 2 of the boys are taken away. Not by ambulance, but by helicopter. There are fears the youngsters might be in more fragile condition than hoped. They were flown to the hospital where a large crowd gathered. Soon after, another of the boys is brought from the cave entrance in the care of paramedics. He is driven off. All 4 are being treated for malnutrition and hypothermia. The families of all 12 boys and their soccer coach are glued to the news. It's believed Thai authorities are not releasing the names of the 4 boys, even to families, to avoid upsetting the parents of those still trapped. Even if they do, the boys are so near, yet still so far, in isolation. No hugs yet until they regain their strength and immunity. This woman is sure one of the rescued is her nephew, Mongkol. I always told myself he would be all right, she says. After cautious preparation for the extraction operation, success has buoyed the rescuers. After 16 days of waiting, he says, we are seeing the faces of the Wild Boars soccer team. The operation has been more successful than we expected, he tells us. Along with the joy, though, reality of the task that remains. He explains. We will need to resupply air tanks along the way again. We have used everything. Then the next group will be evacuated. Students at the boys' school were told the good news. We are so pleased the rescue has started, one tells us. We want them all back. Community support includes these expats from Texas, bringing food for the workers.
These are banana cupcakes. My wife made 100 of them. These are cheese grilled sandwiches, some tuna, some cheese.
They've also learned the dangers local weather holds for the continuing rescue mission.
I've seen 1,000 acres flood in a matter of a few hours. So there's a window here, and they need to take advantage of that.
For the rescue teams, like these soldiers, there must be a feeling that nothing they ever do again in uniform will be this rewarding, and Thais are thankful for the international help.
Very happy that we still worry about the boy left in a cave.
4 rescues. This whole nation is watching.
รวมสุดยอดหัวกะทิ
The whole world is watching, wanting 9 more.
Reporter Alice Monfries is in Chiang Rai tonight as the rescue operation continues. The divers having managed just a brief rest overnight.
That's right, it appears they are already back at it. The same team is taking part in the second rescue, which we understand is underway right now. Operational leaders decided it was best to send the same team down again because of the knowledge they've understand about the cave and the techniques it takes to navigate the twists and turns, especially with a child attached. We're also learning more about the number of Australians involved in this operation. There are 19 of them here. 6 of them are AFP divers, and there are also planning and medical officers.
Alice Monfrey's there. The journey to the boys is precise and arduous. Rescuers considered a range of scenarios, including digging a kilometre-deep tunnel from above. But their hands were forced by the weather. The underwater operation is fraught with danger. Here's how they're doing it.
The Tumbler 1 caves are a complex series of tunnels and caverns. 90 expert divers have been working there since the soccer team was found, 40 from Thailand, 50 from around the world. The rescue process includes a mixture of walking, wading, climbing and diving along guide ropes now in place. 18 Thai and international divers were sent to where the team was waiting, with others stationed along the route. Wearing wetsuits and full-face masks, which are easier for novices than traditional respirators, each boy was accompanied by 2 divers for the 5-hour journey. The boy is tethered to the lead diver, who also carries his air supply. At least 4 sections are flooded, requiring up to a 30-metre dive in some places. The critical section of this rescue mission, and most terrifying, a narrow choke point. It's a tight section of tunnel where a narrow choke point. It's a tight section of tunnel where a sharp upward bend is followed by an equally sharp downward slope. It's barely the width of a human being, meaning the lead diver has to roll both oxygen tanks through the gap before crawling along behind. The boy must then navigate the gap on his own, followed by the second diver. After the choke point, they descend into the dark floodwaters again, reaching a section called Chamber 3, a large cavern that's been turned into a staging area. Here, the boys can rest before making the last part of the journey to surface, walking out on foot.
It's not a simple operation. I think they've got the best people there are in the world doing it. The elephant in the room is absolutely the weather. One large monsoonal deluge could turn the whole cave into something that's impossible to work in.
While rescuing all could still take days, tech billionaire Elon Musk has shared video of a kid-sized submarine now on its way to Thailand. Hopefully useful in this rescue, he says, if not the next. Eddie Meyer, NBN News.
To other news now, and police are investigating whether foul play was to blame for a fire which damaged a home near Newcastle last night. While the owner wasn't home at the time, she's now been left homeless.
In the middle of the night, a suburban home goes up in flames. Neighbours watched on as the fire took hold, unaware if anyone is still inside and unable to help.
Crews quickly entered the building with lines of hose and breathing apparatus and completed a search of the property. Fortunately, no one was in the property at the time, and they managed to confine the fire to the rear of the building.
The blaze fueled by the sheer number of belongings inside the home.
It took approximately 30 firefighters about 2 hours to get under control. There was a lot of contents inside the building, which made it very hard for firefighters to manoeuvre around, and the fire kept reigniting.
It's understood the homeowner, a middle-aged woman, has lived in the property for around 30 years. Her house still stands, but she is now homeless.
The owner has told NBN News that the shed where the fire started was filled with her late parents' belongings and is now understandably devastated that it's all been lost.
It's not known what started the fire, but police are now investigating if foul play is to blame. Georgia Mar, NBN News.
To breaking news, and a man has been charged with murder following a house fire at Raymond Terrace over the weekend. The body of a 76-year-old woman was found inside the Rosemount Drive property, which went up in flames on Saturday morning. Today, a 69-year-old man was charged with murder and destroying a house by fire. He was refused bail to appear in Newcastle court in September.